Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tina. Today's video we are going to be talking all about the new Sephora Pro palette. But before I get started, I would love for you guys to hit that subscribe button and the bell right next to it so that way you can get notifications whenever I upload new videos, which I do a lot of beauty reviews and tutorials, so check out my past videos. Alright, Sephora came out with 3 beautiful palettes and they are the Editorial Warm and Cool palette. So obviously I got the Editorial and Warm palette. I didn't get the cool tone palette just because of the fact that I really don't use cool tone eyeshadows really for some reason, and I'm not drawn to them, so I feel like I was just gonna waste money if I picked it up. And plus, what if I didn't like it? You know what I mean? So that's another thing. Anyway, I know you've seen these reviews floating around, but what's another one, YouTube, right? But I would like to really let you know how I feel about these palettes. So let's get started. So when you get these palettes, they come in these packaging. So they're very simple, black, straightforward, and you have that holographic writing going on in the middle, which says Sephora Pro, and this one is the Editorial and this one is the Warm palette, and in the back is a picture and a description of what you are getting and also the ingredients. So the ingredients of this, they do have talc and mica on these eyeshadows. Not all of them, but I believe some of them do have them. And also they've included these little brochures to kind of give you an idea of how to use these palettes. So if you are somebody who's new and you're picking this up, you can get an idea from these brochures right here on how to use them by color. Also, when you open this, you are getting the little flimsy plastic thing going on, and it has names of the eyeshadows in here, and it's not really printed on the palette. I kind of feel like they should have put it in the back here because I always lose this, so it's like, I don't know, I don't really use it. Anyway, this is what the palette looks like. The first palette that I'm holding right now is the Sephora Pro Warm Tone palette. So as you can see, it's very sturdy, beautiful packaging. It does have some weight to it, which is really nice, and it doesn't feel cheap. Now, you are getting 28 eyeshadows in these palettes, and they are retailing this for $68. So you are getting a full-size mirror, and this is what the palette looks like. As you can see, it is a warm tone lover palette. 8 of these eyeshadows do have that shimmery, beautiful metallic finish to them, and the rest of these palettes are all matte shades. Now this reminds me a lot of the Natasha Denona Sunset palette, which I do have. So this is what the comparison in between, this is what it looks like. They do have a lot of almost the same colors in a way, and this one is $128 and this one is only $68. So now let's start with the first row here. The first row are more of your transition shade, your brow bone shade, and these are all matte shades. They do perform really nicely. They swatch really well as well, and I absolutely love the payoff of these. The one thing that I'm going to say is that the matte shades do have a lot of fallout in them, and it's kind of crazy because I really don't mind fallout, but with this one it's kind of extreme, and I feel like I'm just throwing my money away with these mattes. Now the second row is more of your golden shades, and I do love that nice warm bronzy shade, and these row right here do have it. They've included that, and it's absolutely amazing. And I also love the medium brown colors that they've included in here. They are absolutely beautiful. Now the third row here is more of your reddish, beautiful brownish colors. So this third one is more of your fall colors, and they are absolutely beautiful. The payoff is actually really nice, especially these two colors here, this peach and this cranberry shade. They are absolutely beautiful, and they blended on the lids really nicely. Now the last shade here are more your dark brown to your black shade, and these are great for really just defining and giving that outer V shade on your eyes. And one thing that I'm gonna say is that this shade right here is the one that really didn't perform. I feel like this is more of an overlay shade rather than a an actual eyeshadow that you can lay on your lids. So this is more like a topper type of shade, and it didn't really give me that much payoff. It was okay. I mean, it had some specks of shimmers in there, but nothing too crazy. So, and that's what the warm palette consists of. And now moving on to the cool tone palette. So this is what it looks like. Again, you have this little overlay plastic that you use to kind of determine what the color is and to protect the eyeshadows. But this palette kind of reminds me of the Huda Beauty Rose Gold Textured palette because of the bottom shades here. For some reason, it kind of does. But if you're looking at this eyeshadows, it's very colorful. It's beautiful. It has a lot of pop of shades in there. And this palette is for somebody that really loves to have fun with their look. Now, the top row right here, I did swatch it, and they all swatch really nicely. So your second to your fifth row right here are more of the holographic shades where you can mix and match and top it off with any of these colors, and it transforms the colors, which I love, and I'm obsessed with that system. I love it. Now, these two shades are okay. This one kind of reminds me of the, I want to say Stardust from the Natasha Denona Star Palette. That's what it reminds me of. It has a lot of fallout, a lot of shimmers, and when you apply it on your lids, it doesn't really show. It just sits there for a minute and then it goes away. So that's what it reminds me of, and that's what it does. Now, the second color right here are your bright colors, and they are absolutely beautiful. These two shades are what you're seeing on my crease area, so that's the warmth that you're seeing on my eyes. And they blended really nicely. This fuchsia shade right here, it's beautiful. However, when I applied this on my lids to blend it out, it really didn't show that well on the lids. It's kind of annoying because it's so beautiful, but it really didn't show on my lids that well. But these other three shades are amazing. They're great, and they are fully pigmented. Now, the last shade right here didn't really perform that well. It had a lot of fallout. So that's what you're seeing on my outer V right now. And seeing as black as this is, or as dark as that is, it's not really showing that well on my outer V. And I had to really build it to get it to where I want it, and it's still not showing that well. So I don't know. I don't like it. And then over here, it's more of your green and blue shades, and this shade right here is beautiful. However, when you pick it up with a brush, it doesn't really show. When you wet it with the brush, it does show for a few seconds, and then it goes away right after. So I did apply this with my brush wet, and it didn't really stay. So I don't know what's going on there, but Sephora has to fix that. And then these other shades right here performed really nicely. That blue cobalt shade is absolutely beautiful, and then this green one also is absolutely beautiful. Everything in here is awesome except for this one. Now, the last row, I do love the last row. It's almost like this baby pink shade. I do have that in the inner corners of my eyes, and I love it. These are more of your metallic, and this shade right here is a duochrome shade, which I have in the middle of my eyes. That's what's giving me that duochrome effect going on, and these shades are really nice. This one, however, this coppery shade right here, I don't know, it's coming off as pink in the camera, but it's a coppery shade right over here. It does remind me also of the Stardust from Natasha Denona. It has the same texture as this white shade right on top, so it does have that texture. So I feel like it performs a lot better when it's wet. But other than that, like everything else in this palette, is really good. Now, I want to talk about the matte shades in this palette because I feel like the matte shades are overkill. The metallic and the duochrome shades are absolutely beautiful. They were all really nice. The pigmentations are really, really, really good. But the matte shades are what's killing me in this palette. And both of these palettes have a decent amount of matte shades in there. If you don't mind fallout, definitely get this palette. But I just feel like I'm just throwing my money out because there's tons and tons of fallout in the matte shades, and it sucks having that, especially because that's an extra step that you have to take when you are applying your eyeshadows. And the pigmentation is there, the blendability is there, everything in between is there except for the fallout. So I'm gonna give you an example. Okay, so this is the warm tone shade, but I'm gonna give you, I don't know if you can see that, but when I go here, you can see that it picks up. I just tapped in a little bit of that and it picks up a lot of shades in there. So it's really, really finely milled, but also there's a lot of fallout. When you're blending it, look how it blends. It blends really nicely. So it blends really, really, really great. If you divide these per eyeshadow, they are going to cost you $2.42 for each of the eyeshadows. And they do weigh 0.04 ounces, which I think is really great. However, I probably will pass because this is not something that I would really enjoy using, especially the fact that there's a lot of other palettes out there that don't have much fallout, like the Jaclyn Hill palette and Morphe palette. I did recently just review that. For this type of palette, which you're paying $68 for, yes, 28 eyeshadows, but you're getting a lot of fallout. It's an extra step to really just, you know, create a look with that. However, if you don't mind that, definitely get these palettes because they are great and they are amazing. Another thing that I'm going to say is that with the warm palette, they should have included more shimmer shades in here or metallic shades, because I feel like they did such a great job with the metallic shades and the shimmery shades. However, they didn't really include that many. Like everything in between here is matte shades. So it's kind of overkill, you know what I mean? So that's another thing that I'm going to say about that. And also, I feel like with the warm palette, you're probably thinking, is it a dupe for the Natasha Denona palette? I feel like with the colors that's been included in here, yes, it is. But if you don't like fallout, no, I wouldn't really recommend the warm shade, because I feel like the Natasha Denona eyeshadows are really superior in the market in terms of the matte shades, the blendability of the matte shades. There's no fallout and they're so pigmented. And even the metallic shades in here, they are amazing. I mean, I know it's half the price, but if you're really looking for the quality and the blendability without any fallout, still get the Natasha Denona palette. But if you don't mind that, you can get this. You can absolutely get this and get away with some looks from the Natasha Denona Sunset palette, and you can still create some looks with this and nobody's gonna know, really. As long as you do your eyes first before doing anything else on your face. So that way you can prevent the fallout from happening. Alright guys, that is my 2 cents. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if it's something that you are going to get or not. And I will see you guys again in my next video. I love you all. Bye!